All right. So we have students ask a question. Mangling the Moose says, the last two games I had as black in the Open Roy, because I had him playing the Open Roy. The last two games as black in the Open Roy, I played B5 first. Remember, this was the move, knight e4. But he says I played B5 first, and then I played knight e4. And I was wondering the difference. Just saw the bishop and go to d5. I ran into the very last game. It makes for a tough game. So that's an amazing question. And the right move to play the Open Roy, the only move is knight e4 to play the Open Roy. And if you play b5 first, I face this very position against FIDE Master Ron Simpson in 2009 in the match versus Charlotte's team, U.S. Chess League. And I thought for a while in this position because in this position it also was reached, I believe, in the game Einstein versus Oppenheimer. I actually think that you can check that out. But so when you're looking at this from having studied Morphy, and you look at this position, it's already loose enough that he's played knight takes e4. Open lines like this. But we know that after rook e1, I just told you that knight c5 doesn't really work because you're hitting the bishop. And we talked about these lines. You could just play bishop e7 if you want, or you could do this first, and then bishop e7, and you pick up the bishop pair, and you castle, and you're good. Black has the bishop pair, and there's no white has no structural advantage, right? So what was the question? I'm going to repeat the question. The question is, in the last two games I had as black against the Open Roy, I played, instead of knight e4 here, which you're supposed to do, I played b5 first and then knight e4, and he wanted to know the difference. That's the question. Am I right about Einstein Oppenheimer? Yeah, so I'm right. Okay. Yeah. So my game ended up following Einstein Oppenheimer, which is hilarious. They weren't really that strong. They're both 1600, but they were pretty strong in other areas. Okay, so this is already loose enough. But now when b5 is played, what you hit upon, Mangling, is that after knight e4, if rook e1 now, knight c5 no longer is so effective because of bishop d5. So now you don't. Yes, it's the Oppenheimer from the new movie coming out, the Manhattan Project. I think my great uncle was he was a student of Oppenheimer and a graduate student at university after that 50s, which was kind of fascinating. Yeah, there's a movie coming out on it. Yeah, Christopher Nolan movie. Okay, so, but the interesting thing is, if you look in the database, Mangling the Moose, and you search this position, you will see famous players, I believe even Shirov, if I'm not mistaken, played d4 in this position, and transposed. So most players, if you look at the database, will transpose into d4, d5, which is wrong. And you should not transpose into a mainline Open Roy. And so I had this game I didn't know, and this is why I'm really proud. This is one of my best games ever, because you have to figure out what's the difference. It's like a problem. Well, the bishop's on b3 now, so now, no, that wasn't humor. No, look at the game. It's the same game. I literally had the same game that they had, which was kind of funny. I didn't realize that till after. It was like, wow. So this game was played in 2009, around the time Andromeda thinks we're the same age. Okay, so So I could have transposed, but I didn't. Because, well, you see that rook e1, knight c5 is met by bishop d5 with, literally it's a disaster for black, because the queen side is weakened. And there are pins everywhere on the king. It's too loose of a position. Right? So, then the next question is, well, what happens if he plays d5? Because now, that's a very different story. d5. So now you have to think, are you going to play d4 there? But I had this in mind because of my experience studying Morphy with the Bowden Gambit, this position. And, you know, it's actually fine for black with the move f6 in this exact position, but f6 looks scary. But I always look at the lines in development. We've seen these themes before, you know, even open game themes with knight e5. And so when you study enough Art of the Checkmate open game themes, and you got a guy playing b5 first, and then knight e4, you're thinking, I want more than transposition to the open Roy. So I played rook e1. And again, if knight c5, then bishop d5, right? But after d5, now it's when it gets fun, because I played knight c3. And this is the Gambit style. And that's why the Mora Gambit, it doesn't just teach you to play the Mora Gambit, but it teaches you to play Gambits, period, in all positions, and be ready to give material when the time comes, and not be, yes, sometimes it could be punished, sometimes not. Sometimes if they play a move that's not in the order, sometimes it really can't be that punished. But if it's, you know, if you see something that is so out of the ordinary like this, immediately with this bishop lining up on the king like this, I'm thinking I got to do something more. Okay, d5, knight c3. He has to take that. Then of course d takes. Okay, so now we have a Bowden style gambit, Bowden-Kizurinsky gambit. And I don't think that Einstein played knight c3. Did he? Did he play knight c3? TBA, did he play knight c3 too? No. He didn't get to knight c3. He played a4, which was a mistake. Einstein did not find knight c3. He played a4 here, which is a mistake. So knight c3. a4 makes not much sense at all. You need to, yeah, a4 he gets in. No. And so Einstein banned in this position. He self-banned himself. Yeah. But rook. Okay, so rook e1, d5, knight c3, take, and he plays bishop e6, right? Because this is falling. Now, Andromeda, what would you do in this position? Knowing you want to get your pawn back? Huh? You want to get your pawn back? Yeah, I mean, you want to get your pawn back? You know, you want to damage his structure a little bit? What do you want to do? What do you guys think you should do in this position? Should you take on e5? Is that the way? Now remember, we have 1, 2, 3, and when the rook's on e1, I say 4 pieces developed. He has 2, and it's our move. He's 2 moves away from castling. He's up a pawn. Do we want to get the pawn back, or do we want to go for more? And again, remember, his position is a little bit loose because b5. Okay, I like that you suggested knight g5. You're thinking in the right direction. You're thinking to go for it, but I think that after knight g5, he might be able to just play like bishop e7. But knight g5 isn't bad. See, he can play bishop e7, and he can try to, and you know, he's still up a pawn. And the problem is this guy is cemented. So now you have a situation where this bishop is gone. It can't move. It's dominated by these pawns. So what you suggested is playable, but you can castle. Black's totally fine here. This bishop is not moving. So knight g5 was good. Good try. Bishop g5, what? Just queen d7 maybe? So you suggest knight e5 simple chess? But you know, after knight e5, rook e5, bishop d6, you don't really... I guess bishop d6 you could play, but you could also play c6. I guess there's bishop e5. Just c6. And again, this bishop is not being played. So I don't know if Simpson had played this move order many times before, or if he just slipped in the game. But it's not usual that this move order was exploited. I mean, you can imagine that if somebody just did this first, and then he's probably going to get d4 a lot and transpose to an open Roy, as opposed to just, you know, this first. Because this is totally different, forcing. But now here, we haven't committed to d4, so rook e1. Again, knight c5, bishop d5. So here, knight c3. Okay, take. So really for me, it was pretty clear what needed to be played here. And this is why it's one of my favorite games I've ever played. And it's why you study the open games with Morphy. a4, very good. Very good. I played a4. a4 is the best move by far. And a4 is a beautiful move because it works all sides of the board. You're already working the center. You're working the center. You're working the diagonal. And now you're working the queen side too. And not only that, you see a4. Not only are you working the queen side, you're softening these squares, soften them up, and putting pressure on this indirectly, because if you trade in queen d8, you're playing bishop takes d5. Now, if he tries to play a b4, you're playing a5, and now he has tremendous problems managing the pin and getting his king out of it. Well, Einstein didn't play knight c3. Playing a4 first, yeah, it was not enough. So Einstein had the right idea, but he needed to first play, well, a4, knight e5. I didn't even really think that was much of a concern, but let me think about why I wasn't worried about that. It just seems like it's so decentralizing. But you know, I didn't even consider that in the game. It just seems wrong, but looking at it now, it makes sense. But I would probably take here, probably. And if he takes. But it's an interesting try, knight a5. But yeah, there's also bishop g5. I see. Yeah, but this is actually pretty good. Pretty good try. I actually like your move. This is the one way. But it seems that white is only a little bit better here. And if castles, then well, watch out for that. That's always a tactic. Just pay attention to that one, because now there's check. That's a little foreshadowing. I'm just going to tell you that. But it turns out that your knight a5 move can be met by bishop g5. And now they're even, you know, now there are problems on the a file because of this. So Andromeda, this is a good game for you to study to improve your understanding of dynamics in chess. You can take here. If you take here, this is also good because you can't take back. No, it's not, but it is. Actually, if you're a dynamic player, you study Morphe, it is. I would see it 100% in a game, I would say, or over 90% if I'm switched on in the game. Then bishop g5 if I'm alert for sure. If f6, well, rook e5 at the very least, or knight e5, and is winning. So all these open game patterns you're not, Andromeda not very used to, but you need to get. Yeah, it's not a move you need to really think too hard about. TBA would see it, and you might think that's not true because he's not 2000, but he would see it. The reason is he's always trying to develop his pieces, which you need to work on. The reason I didn't really consider a move like knight a5 to be serious in the game is because he's not developing the piece again. He's fallen behind further. So if you're thinking about it logically, yeah, you just bring more pieces out. Either way he blocks with bishop e7 or f6, there's going to be a problem. Bishop e7 you can take, and there's problems on the a file. f6 his king is weak, so bishop g5 is obvious actually when you think of it that way. I'm lecturing, I'm doing a lot of stuff, but I was focused solely on the game. I would certainly hope I'd play bishop g5. So b4 may be the best move, but then a5 and bishop a4 will be winning. So now my opponent plays rook b8, and this sets in motion a combination which was one of my favorite combinations I've gotten to play. It's a totally logical one. So rook b8, and of course I took. So now I have all of my pieces working, even though these two guys they haven't technically moved, they're still working. Yes, rook b8 is logical. I mean, he's a really good player, this guy. Ron Simpson's quite strong.
I think every time Mark starts a lecture, he has to put on glasses and a tweed jacket with elbow patches for validity.
Okay, so since Andromeda is engaged for the first time, what would you play now? What would you play now as way? So this game was a finalist for Game of the Year for 2009 in the U.S. Chess League. It got top 3. Yes, rook a6 is not only tempting, it's the only move. So very good, rook a6. Getting all the pieces out. You don't want to play knight e5, jumping jacks, because this knight is loose. So you don't want to help him get rid of his worst piece. No, you want to put more pressure on it, and rook b6 is such an ugly move that, even though if it might be the only move, rook a6. And yeah, so rook b6 is just awful looking on so many levels, and yeah, so that's terrible. So yeah, don't help the opponent. You always want to take advantage of his worst pieces. So rook a6. Now every piece is working. He's still 2 moves away from castling. Now queen d7 was played in the game. This is a game that I basically know by heart. It's one of my favorite games. I might have to check one move or something in the next 2 moves. So now I played a combination. And it's funny because they were judges for each week, and this game didn't even win Game of the Week because some of the judges were a little mocked. They thought this game was obvious. But then it ended up being a finalist for Game of the Year because it wasn't really obvious. Yeah, pretty much, Andromeda, I agree. So what would you do? What would you do in Что? Dmitry? Что? So what would you do in rook e5? No. Again, why are you helping him get rid of his best piece for your rook? Which piece is worth more? I mean, this rook? If you're gonna sacrifice a rook here, you need to do it with some authority. Now this is one of my favorite games, and I'm just gonna. That's why Mangling the Moose's question is an amazing one. Yeah, let me just... Yeah, alright. C4? C4 is interesting. If he takes with this guy, then you have bishop a4. But, I mean, he's going to take this way. So C4 is a lazy move. It's a pretty lazy move, if you ask me. Sorry. So, you know, how many of you guys are familiar with the fried liver? Pretty much most of you, right? But did you ever think that from a Roy Lopez this position could become a fried liver? Probably not. So that's why this game was not that obvious.
What we might do is about 15 minutes of Mega Medley. So my folks and Joe's folks just not shout, but just...
So, I played the move that's winning in this position. I played rook takes c6, yes. And it's surprising. But again, it's all in time and tempo, not letting him castle. Rook takes c6, and the amazing thing about this combination, Mangling the Moose, is that it all happened. It all happened because of the premature b5 and then knight takes e4, leading up to this entire combination, starting with rook e1, knight c3, take, bishop e6, a4, the b4, a5, rook b8, take, like clockwork, rook a6, queen d7, take. Now, it doesn't even really matter where he moves his queen. He's going to have problems no matter what. But it's not obvious because the knight is a bum. I agree. You're giving up a monster rook for the knight, which is this kind of pathetic piece. And you know, obviously this move, obviously rook e5 doesn't work. So why does I saw this line ahead here. Yeah, well, before I played a4, I saw that I was going to do this. Yeah, I was in really good shape this game. Yeah, here. I knew that you know, if he plays knight c5, I'm going to play bishop d5. No, I mean I was in really good shape here. And a d5. So here I just was feeling that I have a tremendous initiative, development. I'm looking at, you know. Also, I know I could always get knight takes e5 back. I mean, this was the same year that I played this game. So bishop e6, yeah, and then I saw, okay, a4, if rook b8, take, rook a6, and fried liver. No, I didn't have many doubts because I knew that knight e4, with all my experience in the Open Roy, having played it as black. Remember, you know, we just had a lecture on this position for those of you who were here. You know, if I know that stuff like this exists in the Open Roy, you know, and this is a main line, right? If I know that this is a main line in the Open Roy, and it's this sharp, right? And we just saw this game. Then if a guy plays b5 here and knight takes e4, you better believe I'm looking for some really sharp stuff. So it really wasn't. It was a really logical game for me because of you know, knowing what I'm dealing with in the position. So here we go. Rook a6, queen d7, take, knight e5. He played queen c5. I don't really think it matters wherever he moves his queen. He played queen c5, and what do you guys think I did next? Now I'm down in exchange, so I gotta act. And again, this is very standard stuff if you know your open games, but it's not standard to get to the position. Like, it's standard now, but not here. So you have to exactly. So knight f7. So here, take, here. You can't see the difference because you don't know the open games. This is what I'm talking about. So you Andromeda, you like your structure, but you're a mocker out of water, fish out of water here. As you said, you're not able to swim in this position. Knight takes f7. Exclam wins. And look at the evaluation. +6. I mean, I bet you're surprised by that one. +6. But it's not surprising. Rook down. White's the rook down +6. Because all the pieces are out. It's a typical Morphy game. You know? Well, you didn't see it coming because you don't know. Do you know this game by heart? No. No, you don't. You don't know this. You don't know this Morphy game by heart because you don't listen. You know, you do you know this Morphy game by heart? No. Knight takes f7. Literally. And then knight c3. I've shown it a million times, but you don't, you know, check. Bishop f4. You know, check here, here, here. This is the you know, this is the epic. No, they're not. They're not two totally different positions. Only you think that they're totally different positions. You know, only you think that they're totally different positions. So they're not. They're not totally different positions. Queen d3, right? B4 and mate. They're not. They're very similar. This was the game that I had in mind when I was playing this game. This was the game that I had in mind. Here, check. Here, check. And you know, this is a game that Morphy played blindfolded while he's playing 7 other guys blindfolded. So, if we look at, again, this game, here, A4, there are many similarities. To me, it's just very similar, and now, knight takes f7. All his pieces are loose, he has to take it. No, it's not about the structures, it's about the piece play. You only pay attention to pawn structure, but you don't look at piece play. Piece play is the same pattern. Okay, queen f3 check. Yeah. And you know, if he plays king g8, then rook e6. If c6, rook c6. You know, I'll take this way. Yeah, and mate. This is one of my favorite games that I've ever played. It's amazing that the queen is getting trapped now too. Total domination, and this is mate. Yeah. So, and obviously, if the king goes here, it's mate. So knight f7, just a crushing blow. If he played queen b6, his fate would be similar. I hadn't calculated all these variations, but I knew that it was winning somehow at this point. Like here, there's gonna be some good stuff happening. It's no surprise. The pieces are way. Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. I was very deeply studying at this point. Queen d7, take, here, knight f7. So Simpson played king e7. And of course, bishop takes d5. And again, he still can never solve his problems. If rook b6, I mean, I think he played rook b6 and then yeah, then bishop g5. Yeah. So not bishop b3 because then queen takes. He played rook b6, did he not? Yeah. So again, rook b6, and now we get the Morphy style. Yeah. So rook b6, and I saw the win here for sure. So Andromeda, would you like to try and see the win now? Since you're down a rook, what are you gonna do? The win is not. It's not that obvious. Queen F7, Dave, is interesting, but he plays king takes. I think B4 is good. I think B4 is winning. Yeah, B4 is winning. Yeah, I didn't play B4. Is B4 winning? It looks winning. Yeah, B4 is nice. There are many wins. I didn't play B4, but B4 is nice and simple. B4, yeah, just wins. But it's not a very beautiful move. It's kind of a butcher move. But B4 is resign. Yeah. You could also play. No, then he has Queen D7. But yeah, but you can just do this. Yeah. No, it's okay, but it's winning. But I don't think B4 is in the logical style of getting the pieces out. So B4 is okay, but my style is to keep developing the pieces. So I play Bishop G5, check. And now King D7. But I agree that B4 is simpler than what I did. But I like what I did better. Yeah. Obviously, King E8, and we're just winning a million ways. Made everywhere with the bishops. Okay, so King D7, and now I played. It's interesting that yeah, this line that I found was pretty mocked actually. Bishop E6. I'm just remembering what I did. Check. Right. Yeah, so I played Bishop E6, take, and check. And you need to see that if he plays Queen E7, you need to see that you have Rook D1 check, first of all. Because if you don't, then you're in trouble. But you have Rook D1 check, and you pick up the queen. All right. So Rook E6. Check. He played Bishop E7. But yeah, I mean, I agree that the B4 move is simple, but this is completely lost too. But I'm still going. But yeah, B4 would have won. More material, I suppose. I don't know why. I like this move better. But okay, take here. Rook E7, and now Bishop takes E7. Still down a piece. Queen takes, and Queen E6. And he resigned. Because if King E8, Queen C8 wins easily. And the funny thing is that I didn't see Rook A1. But they did some newspaper articles on this, and they all said I was going to play Rook A1. No, I'm not more stubborn. Bishop G5 just seemed like the logical developing move to me. I'm interested in developing my pieces. You're looking at the pawns all the time. But the funny thing is that after King D8, I was going to play Rook E5, which wins completely too, and wins the queen if he plays Queen D6. But Rook A1 is a really, I mean, this is winning completely too. But Rook A1 is a stunning finish, which is totally connected to the game with A4, and unfortunately he resigned so that Rook A1 is on record as the finishing move. This is one of my favorite games that I've ever played. And I think you see why, because it perfectly answers the question that Mangling the Moose asked. What is the difference between knight e4 here, the open Roy Lopez, and b5, and now dubious knight e4, which doesn't have a name, it's just band variation, and refuting the whole line over the board like this was one of my happiest moments, I would say, in chess, actually. Knight c3, take, bishop e6. My opponent was like 2300 plus, 2330, I think, FIDE. I don't know, he was an FM. I don't remember his FIDE, but he was FM. a4, rook b8, take, rook a6, queen here, take, smash on f7, check. Many moves here. Take, yes, b4 would have won prosaically, as they say, but this is the attacking style move. Check here, check, and resigns. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this happened. No, rook e7, right? Take, check, and he resigned. King e8, queen c8, king d8, rook e1, or
Excellent lecture.
Or
You'll study this
rook
game
a1.
till
So
c6 takes balls.
yeah, rook a6. Thanks, Mangling. Bishop g5 is the Morpheus style. I mean, if you're trained to study the opera game, then I mean, obviously you're looking for bishop g5. I mean, this is just what you do. This is just how it is. We're looking to develop all our pieces. Rook d1, bishop d7. You know, Andromeda, at least you know that you're mocked, so thanks for that. And let's move on.